I still remember the first time I heard about it sitting in a tiny cafe in Manila, sipping a fresh mango shake when a local airline pilot leaned over and whispered, "They're building something that's going to change everything." I looked at him with that classic blonde abroad. Confusion, equal parts curiosity and excitement, because honestly, I wasn't quite sure what he meant. Just a bigger airport? How big could that really be? I just come from the US where airports are big, but in Asia, that's a whole other level. Fast forward a year, and here I am walking on reclaimed land in Bulacan, north of Metro Manila, staring at a project so immense it makes giant airport hubs back home look like cozy regional terminals. This is the new Manila International Airport, the project that Filipinos are quietly calling the biggest airport in Asia. And let me tell you, walking through this place feels like stepping into the future. You know how Ninoy Aquino International Airport, NAIA, in Manila gets all the attention? It's the main gateway into the Philippines, handling way more people than it was ever designed to handle. When I first landed here, NAIA was chaotic, busy, crowded, and absolutely brimming with travelers. It was already operating beyond its design capacity, handling almost 50 million passengers in 2023, when it was only built for around 30 million a year. The Diplomat. And that's where the story really begins, because the Philippines needed a new beginning when it came to aviation infrastructure. NIA was not enough. It was bursting at the seams. Flights were delayed, luggage systems strained, and local officials knew they needed something huge. Enter New Manila International Airport, NMIA. This is not just a new airport. It is the aviation megaproject that could redefine travel across Southeast Asia. Australian dollar, 15 billion project developed by San Miguel Corporation, one of the Philippines. Biggest conglomerates in MIA is planned to be built on about 2,500 hectares of reclaimed land in Bulacan, roughly 35 kilometers north of Metro Manila. Spot.ph. What makes it so big? Right now, it's expected that once the first part of the airport opens, it could handle 35 million passengers annually, with the entire complex built out to serve up to 100 million passengers a year, or more figuratively putting it shoulder to shoulder with some of the busiest airport hubs in the world. But Dank Hospital? I know what you're rethinking. A big airport, Dosen? To make it the biggest in Asia. And you're right, not by sheer land size alone. But here's the deal. In terms of planned capacity and long-term scale, NMIA is being designed to compete with huge Asian airports like those in China and Singapore. In fact, within Asia-Pacific's wave of airport builds and expansions, NMIA is listed among the region's top megaprojects. Full star, that means this isn't just a local airport for Manila, it's a global gateway. Let me take you back to the very first time I walked inside the construction site. I stepped out of a van and immediately felt the scale of it all. The wind blew warm off Manila Bay, spreading the scent of salt air mixed with diesel and fresh concrete. Huge cranes towered overhead. Piles of steel rebar seemed to stretch like skyscrapers waiting to be born. Workers in hard hats moved with purpose, and engineers pointed at massive digital renderings stapled to fences. The blueprint showed something that looked less like an airport and more like a futuristic city. Multiple parallel runways, futuristic terminals with hundreds of boarding gates, wide taxiways, and support infrastructure that, if you weren't careful, could make your head spin trying to take it all in. The Dank Hospital, and then there were the numbers. The first 2 runways alone were planned to be kilometers long, designed for some of the largest aircraft ever built. But beyond that, there were plans to grow into 4 runways, enormous terminal spaces, sprawling parking facilities with thousands of slots, expressway connections, and even potential rail links to connect the airport directly with Metro Manila and beyond. But Dank Hospital, it was like watching a dream take physical form. As an American who has flown through nearly 3 dozen airports in the States and Europe, and even airports in Japan and South Korea, I'll tell you honestly, NIA feels different. It's not just about scale, it's about ambition. In the US, most airport projects are incremental upgrades. Add another concourse here, retrofit security there. But what I found in the Philippines was a project that didn't just upgrade the system, it reimagined it. Here is something no one tells you. Building an airport of this size is not easy anywhere. but building one on reclaimed land, in a region prone to typhoons and earthquakes. That's another challenge entirely. Engineers here are constantly thinking about drainage systems, soil stability, flood defenses, and environmental safeguards. Some critics even worry about soil instability and whether the foundations will hold up long term. Read it, but that's the thing about big ideas. They always attract big debates. And here in the Philippines, the conversation around NMIA isn't just about how big, but how smart the design is balancing ambition with practicality. One of the coolest parts was seeing how locals talk about the project. At first, a lot of people thought it was just another government promise, something that sounded good on paper but would never really happen. After all, Filipinos have seen many NMIA projects get delayed or stalled due to funding or bureaucratic issues. But once San Miguel Corporation stepped in with private financing, everything changed. NMIA is not a government-funded project. It's being financed, built, and operated under a massive private-public partnership. That means the company puts up the money, builds it, operates it, and then eventually transfers ownership back to the government after a set period. Spot.ph. What's wild, though, is how this move also opens doors for economic growth. They're talking about job creation not just in Bulacan, but across the whole island of Luzon. Flights could increase. Cargo capacity could skyrocket. Businesses could flourish. The ripple effect could transform entire regions. I had lunch with a local tourism worker who told me, this airport is going to change where tourists go, how they travel, even how towns grow around it. And she wasn't exaggerating. Now you might be thinking, will it really be the biggest in Asia? Well, here's the nuance. Asia has a lot of massive airport projects. Places like China and Hong Kong are doing huge expansions too. Philstar? But in terms of capacity coupled with overall vision, an airport designed from scratch to serve 100 million passengers, 4 or more runways, and a fully integrated transportation network. NMIA is absolutely in the conversation for being one of the largest and most ambitious in Southeast Asia. That alone puts the Philippines on the map in a way people don't usually talk about. One local airline executive told me, with bright eyes and a wide smile, when this opens, people won't fly into Manila first and then fly out again. They'll connect right here. It's going to be huge. And you know what? The pride in his voice reminded me why infrastructure matters so deeply to people, not just as steel and concrete, but as a promise of growth. Walking through the construction site reminded me of something I read once. Bigger dreams are built brick by brick. Every day, workers haul materials across the site. Every week, new pillars rise, new land gets reclaimed, and new purpose takes shape. The first phase expected to begin operating by late 2028. If all goes according to plan, will already be something to behold. A world-class terminal, multiple runways, and a capacity that blows most existing Southeast Asian airports out of the water. Spot.ph. And here is the most exciting part for travelers like me. This isn't just about big flights or international traffic. It's about making travel easier, more efficient, and more connected for Filipinos and visitors alike. Imagine flying from Cebu or Davao, connecting in a terminal that feels like a futuristic city. Then taking a quick rail or expressway straight into Manila, no cramped corridors or outdated layovers. It's the kind of travel experience you expect in ultra-modern airports in Tokyo, Seoul, or Singapore, not something many people associate with the Philippines just yet. But that's changing. As the sun dipped low and the shadows grew long over the construction site that day, I sat on a pile of reclaimed soil watching workers pack up, cranes lowering their arms like tired giants, and the distant skyscrapers of Metro Manila glowing against the horizon. I pulled out my phone and read an article on my screen. In the Asia-Pacific region, airlines and airport authorities are collectively building dozens of new airports and expansions, massive projects worth billions. But few have the scale or the ambition of this one. Center for Aviation? Here's the truth. It might not be the single biggest airport in all of Asia once every runway and terminal is completed. Some projects in China and beyond are absolutely massive. But it will be one of the largest, most forward-looking, and most significant airports in the region, and that's nothing to scoff at. In fact, that's something worth celebrating. Because what I've seen here isn't just steel and runway. It's a statement, a bold one from a country that's saying, we are ready. Ready for bigger tourism, more business, stronger connectivity, and a future where the Philippines isn't just a destination, but a hub. And to think this all started with a mango shake and a curious pilot's whisper.